But where is it? Listen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if you're getting. Welcome to my life. This is Nurse Aisha on the line. Please welcome.
Whether it's charging or not. This one, they don't pick white dressing and mix it with another dress. They pick one dressing and hang it. That's why they do not dry the dressing normal.
Hello,
They
Gabriel.
It's
charging.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah.
Please, are you getting me? I'm using an earpod, so I don't know if I'm audible enough. Today we are talking about the medications that are needed for anyone before you say I do. Good evening, Steve. Today is about knowing how best to manage your relationship. What you need to do before you ever start a relationship with anyone. Oh, it's okay. You don't really have to like me. You just need to know what I'm saying. Burkina Faso. Gabriel, good evening from Cameroon. I'm so glad that you guys are here. The live will actually be starting by 8:30. I'm just here so that we get to know each other before the time clocks. Give me the phone. Hello from Burkina Faso. Good evening. Jan, for greetings from Poland. Wow, I'm so blessed today, Jan. Jan, thank you so very much. Hey girl, reaction. Panyash reaction. Good evening. Hey from Indian, good evening. Please welcome to my life. Today we are trying to know how best it is to take care of ourselves as individuals and to get into a healthy relationship. Hey Stephen from the US. Alright, I'm not from the US, I'm in Cameroon. Good evening, welcome to my life. Here is Nurse Aisha. I'm from Cameroon, not from the US. Today we are going to talk on what you must do before you say I do. Chris from Germany, Boza. Good evening, I guess in Germany now. I don't know what is the time, morning, afternoon, or evening. Good evening, good evening. By my own time, so whatever your time might be, I'm saying good evening. Good evening, Ellie from Germany. I'm glad you guys are all here today. It means a lot to see that we live a healthy and a happy life. So by 8:30, which will just be in 7 minutes time, we are going to start our live, which is titled around, is I do good enough? If you say I do, does that mean that you are ready? Is the highest thing in a relationship saying, I'm from India. Good evening. Welcome to my life. I appreciate my friends and colleagues from India. They are always present. So yes, I know that I have a huge family in India. Good evening, good evening. Please This is YouTube. This is YouTube, and I know how difficult it is for young YouTubers to make it out. So I want us to grow together. I want us to see that we break the barriers. I know that big YouTubers will tell you this, and it makes a lot of sense. And when somebody like me come out here so that we can grow together, it will be like, how many followers do you have? How many subscribers can you count? Let's take the subscribers to 500 today so that we can be boasting of something. Let's bring up the subscribers to 1,000. I'm from Iran. Good evening, Amipi. Sorry if I don't pronounce the name correctly. From Iran, welcome to my live. Here is Nes Aisha on the line. Good evening, good evening. We are going to be talking today on the important medical questions to discuss with your partner. Important medical questions to discuss with your partner. When you meet somebody that you like, when you meet a man that you like, when you meet a lady that you like, and you want to start a relationship with them, what are those questions that you need to ask them before you get or before you start a relationship? Please answer me. What is your question? Care it. Care, what is your question? You can send the question again. I'll answer if I get it. Okay, you said, please answer me. What is your question? I did not get the question. While waiting for Care to post his question, we're going to continue. I said today we are going to be looking at the important aspects. The important aspects or the important medical questions you need to ask your partner, that you need to ask your girlfriend, that you need to ask your husband, you need to ask your spouse or your fiance before you start a relationship. I asked this. You asked what? What is the question, please? I still do not see the question. I see your first message that said, please answer me. And the second one that says, I asked this. Care, what is your question? Please, please, as much as YouTube has given us the space, let's grow together. Care, I'm with you. What is your question? So if we want to start with those questions, I want us to understand that healthcare is one of the important aspects to consider each time you want to start a new relationship. Each time you want to take that step into building a family with somebody, you need to consider the medical aspect of this individual, because there are a lot of questions, not just how are you, not just what do you do for a living, not just if the individual is beautiful or not. Not these questions, to me, they are the lesser questions to ask an individual. It's like leaving what is important in a relationship and asking the things that are not, or the questions that are not important. And if we have to carry on, then we need to start asking the right question. Who are you? Who am I? How can I be an instrument to my relationship? How can I build a healthy relationship with someone? It is a very, very important aspect when it comes to medicine, when it comes to nursing. We need to be sure, because each day in the hospital we see thousands and thousands and thousands of people come by. They are both sickle cell, and then you are wondering what is going on. Hey Vikran, good evening. How are you today? I'm so happy to see you again. So right now I already know your name and already know you're one of my students. So yes, I'm glad you're here today. How are you? How was your day? So to start with, Question number 1. What is your genotype? These questions should be asked on the very first day that you go out with that lady, that you go out with that man to have dinner. Thank you so very much. I'm equally very, very glad to see you again today. I'm so happy you're here today. I'm so, so happy. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hey, Mekam Gustav. Good evening, Major. Mekam Gustav. Gustav. Is the Gustav I know? Please just answer. Is Marwan's brother? Good evening, Gustav. Good evening. I see you. Welcome to my live. Veram, how was your day? Please come on live. Yes. Immediately I see Beckham. There are only one family of Beckham I know. I'm so happy to see you, Gustav. It's like the longest time ever. More than 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. It refers to the genetic makeup of an organism. Of course, genotype refers to the genetic makeup of an individual. And that is why it is one of the most important questions an individual should ask the person that they like or the person that they show interest to in order to build a meaningful relationship. This is to prevent you from getting deeper into the relationship only to realize that the individual that you are in love with cannot be your partner. I love your accent. Where are you from? I'm from Cameroon, and thank you so very much, baby N8. Thank you so very much. I'm grateful. What is the topic, madam? The topic today is I do ready? The important questions or the important medical questions to be asked on your first date when you meet that person that you want to spend the rest of. If you like somebody and you want to grow together with that individual, it is very, very necessary that you start asking the right medical questions, because an individual might be poor today and tomorrow they become rich. An individual might be sick, or an individual might be lame today, and if you're comfortable, you can live a happy life with them. I'll beat you. And if you're comfortable, you can live a happy life with them. But something you cannot change, especially when it comes to the medical state of an individual. Much love from America. Thank you so very much, baby N. I'm so grateful. Welcome to my life. My name is Nurse Aisha. I am a nurse in Cameroon. Just had a busy day today. I'm coming back from work. And because of the importance of how the youth of today, or how people of today get engaged into relationship without considering the effect, without considering the is I do enough for you to start a relationship? What are the medical questions you must ask on the very first day of meeting somebody that you love, somebody that you feel like you have a connection with, and you are trying to build a meaningful relationship with them? Because people will say, it doesn't matter, I'm dating her, I have no intention of getting married to her, so why should I bother to know them if they are compatible with me? I just want to ask one question. You are going to be in a relationship, sooner or later you start having sexual intercourse with that individual without any protection, and before you know, they are pregnant. what results come from, they say the baby is SS. And you suffer for the rest of your life paying medical bills, which you would have or you should have prevented if only you started asking the right questions from the very first day of meeting. Can you describe me phenotypes in short, ma'am? Yes, I can, and I will, because by the time we'll get there. All right, because when we come to starting with number one question, when talking about the genotype, we'll be talking about the AA, we'll be talking about the AS, we'll be talking about the CS, we'll be talking about the AC, and we'll be talking about the CS. The AA, the AS, the AC, and the CS. These are the different types of genotypes that an individual can possess, an individual is made up from. Now, when you come into details, the medical scene will make us to understand that an AA is a universal genotype. And being a universal genotype simply means that they can get married to anyone. They can choose anyone. So the first question to you as an individual is, what is your genotype? There are people today that do not know their blood group, do not know their genotype, do not know their HIV status, do not know their hepatitis status. They know nothing medically about themselves simply because they are lucky enough they have never been sick, or they have never been to the hospital, because especially here in the country, most people just go to the over-the-counter treatment. They just go to the pharmacy, buy the one they come and consume. Maybe because there's a relative or a family member that is a healthcare personnel. They'll be like, I'm having fever, what can I get? They go and get it and they take. But does that mean that you do not need to know who you are? You definitely need to know who you are. You definitely need to know who you are. So this is why we are here today. The first question you need to ask to an individual is, what is your genotype? Are you AA? Are you AB? Are you AA? Are you AS? Are you CS? Are you SS? You need to find out all about the genotype. Good evening, B. Miriam. How are you today? How was your day? Today is Sunday. How was the service? I guess you prayed for me because I was in the hospital, so I did not go to church. All right. Now, to that so said, somebody that is AS cannot get married to somebody that is AS. Neither are we going to permit them to have children, except that from the very first day of meeting that individual, you have accepted within yourselves that you will not have children. So yes, you can get married under the condition that you will not have children. If you have decided that you will not have children, go ahead, keep a relationship, build feelings, build a family, and move on being friends with each other. Fine, madam. Yes, they prayed for you, madam. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate. I need all the energy. All right. And if you're SS, don't even think about it. Don't go there. It is completely inhumane for you to get married to somebody just so as to put a child in complete pains and misery for the rest of their life. And probably they might not even have the chance to live close to what your age is, because many of them would die before the age of 15. That is not saying that God is not God, because God is not man. The healthcare personnel or the medicine will say what they will say, God will decide what he wants to decide. So this is the environment in which we asked individuals, please and please again. First question, get to know the genes of or the genotypes of that individual. And when you are comfortable with the genotypes of that individual, if you know for sure, because asking someone for their genotype, that simply means you know your own. So now go to the hospital and do an electrophoresis. Electrophoresis is the lab exams that will permit you to know what your genotype is all about. And when you get to know your genotype, you can now ask that question to somebody. What is your genotype? Because the individual, if the person happens to answer that question, they are expecting you to respond to the question as well. So if I say I am AA, and I ask you what is your genotype and you tell me you are SS, it is not a problem to me because I know being AA, I'm a universal genotype, so I can get it to whoever I choose to. But if I am AS and you are AS, we have a 50% chance to having an SS baby for every pregnancy, not 50% for our total period of birth. No, 50% for every pregnancy. And you do not want to put a child through that kind of stress. I don't care what amount or how much you love an individual to even think that you have the powers to change anything about genotypes. Don't pray about it because God is revealing to redeem, and the revelation that the Lord is doing is giving you the knowledge to understand that both of you cannot marry. Yes, my dear. Electrophoresis. Electrophoresis is a lab result. I'll beat you. Electrophoresis is a lab result that is used to detect what your genotype is all about. So if you want to go to the hospital, you can go and you request to do an electrophoresis. I think it might not be the same price as in Cameroon. Neither will it be the same price for the different hospitals. So you need to check in your area. Now, if we go to question number 2, what is your blood group and rhesus factor? Now, blood group and rhesus factor is the second most important question for you to ask an individual. I know, right? You might be asking, what does blood group has to do with this? If I'm A or if I'm B or if I'm AB or if I'm O, how does that interfere with who or with whom I'm supposed to get married to? Electrophoresis in Cameroon in my hospital is 11,000. 11,000 CFA francs is about roughly, let's say $20. I don't know if it's correct. $20, something of that nature. 15, 20. You are all positive. Okay, so this is where we are going to, because if you are O positive, now the blood groups are A, B, AB, and O. And when we are talking about rhesus factor, it is A positive or A negative, B positive or B negative, AB positive or AB negative, O positive or O negative. Those are the different rhesus factors that an individual can possess. And if you are having this rhesus factor, it can affect environment. Or in this situation, we are struggling to avoid what they call risk factor isoimmunization blood group incompatibility. Now, if you are negative and your partner is positive, you might want to try to see other measures in which, or different measures in which you can use to enhance yourself from getting miscarriages. Because in a situation of women, there are women that in the course of a relationship, a lady got pregnant and probably had a spontaneous or an induced abortion or a provoked abortion, and this causes the body, if the lady was negative, that is blood group negative, and the boyfriend or the husband at that time is positive, this stimulates a certain, yes, these are the reasons for which most women have miscarriages after the first pregnancy, because it mostly does not affect the first pregnancy. You will have the first pregnancy right up to term, or you have the first pregnancy and because something might happen, you have a miscarriage, and this miscarriage stimulates the antibody inside the woman's body to start recognizing the seed that will be implanted by her husband as a foreign body. Now, because the antigens in her has stimulated the reaction of an antibody, which will now start fighting the next fetus, and hence causes the woman to keep having recurrent miscarriages. So it is important for you to know that I am negative and my husband is positive. So after my first birth, what am I supposed to do to prevent these miscarriages for subsequent pregnancies? That is the next question, and that is an important question to take into consideration. Number 3 question we'll be looking at: what is your HIV status? There are many people who do not even know their HIV status. There are many people who are afraid to go to the hospital and take an HIV test, because you don't just want to have the slightest opportunity to be told that you're HIV positive. Now you are O positive. You can get married to any partner, whether negative or positive. Now the question is, if your wife is negative, that simply means that there is a possibility for this blood group incompatibility to happen after she has delivered her first baby. They need to give her what we call anti-D vaccine. And the anti-D vaccine is going to prevent that she does not have subsequent miscarriages when she takes in another pregnancy. Now, if your wife is raised blood group positive, no matter which of the blood groups, then it saves you from worrying about taking an anti-D after she has put to bed. Is that understood? Vikram, is that understood? Are you still online? So this is one of the most important aspects to look at. Yes, ma'am. So I do not want to. All right. So you should just make sure that you ask the right question when you see that better half of yours. All right. When you see the lady that you want to make yours, make sure that you ask the right questions and you get to know. It is easier to ask these questions when you start a relationship. This is because it permits you to take a conscious decision without being guilty for it. This saves you the if I have known effect, because if you start building a relationship with somebody, just imagine, just take for an instant, you are dating someone for the past 3 years, or you're dating someone for the past 4 years, only to find out at the end of the day when you're about to get married that you cannot marry that person because the person is SS and you're SS, or the person is AS and you're AS, or you're SS. It hurts. At this point in time when you want to take a decision, you are like, we've come a long way. She's been part of me now, or she's part of me now. We have built a lot together. If I leave her, it might feel like it's wickedness. So you might want to hang around. You might want to keep trying to pamper her to understand the differences. The person might not even want to understand what is going on. They might even choose to get married without ever bothering of having a child, which is slim, because at the end of the day, when you are in marriage, anything can happen. So when you get pregnant, what will you do? Will you go now for an abortion? That only makes it worse. So these are the different aspects that you must consider as an individual before you say, okay, I think I like this individual. Take them for a date, ask the right questions, and get to know about it. All right, you're welcome. So we are going to go to the third question, which is going to ask us on the HIV status. HIV status is very important in a relationship. Yes, somebody will be like, it is old school. It is time now. HIV is now under control. It doesn't matter if somebody is HIV positive or HIV negative. I can always find my way around it. That is true. It really does not matter if somebody is HIV positive or HIV negative. If at all, every other factor put in place is considered. But make sure to take full responsibilities of those actions when they finally occur. And if somebody does not want to associate themselves with another person that is HIV positive without any form of stigmatization, they have every right. So when you want to start a relationship, you need to ask an individual, what is your HIV status? And before asking, you need to know your HIV status. I'm HIV positive or I'm HIV negative. Then you are able to know, are you taking, if the individual says I'm HIV positive, all right, do you take your medications? Are you on medications? Do you take your medications on daily basis? How often do you go to the hospital for checkup? Do you have a doctor that follows you frequently? Do you see a dietitian to make sure that you eat correct and balanced meals? Do you go for counseling? Do you join groups, support groups, to make sure that you are fit and well, you're fit and well addressed to face the community? Why do I say so? Because many individuals that are HIV positive, they either turn to not take their medication, they turn to not go to the hospital to open up to somebody to say, okay, I have been diagnosed before of HIV positive, and they turn not to get themselves to see a nutritionist that will help them with their diet, to go to support group, because they don't want to find themselves in a midst where others will see that they too are HIV positive. So it is very important. Go to the hospital, see somebody, talk with somebody. Stop what you're doing. Go to the hospital, see somebody, talk with somebody, and make sure that you get help. And if you are now in a situation, or if you are capable of keeping to your treatment, if you are capable of taking correct dieting, if you go for regular sports, if your mental health is okay, then we understand that this is going to help a lot to boost your immune system and bring down the viral load. And God being so kind, your viral load can be so low that the HIV does not progress to AIDS. And if your HIV is at the state of just HIV without going to AIDS, and equally, if you are able to take your treatment correctly, there is a period of time that you realize that you are HIV free. Not that you will not more have the virus, but the virus will not be detected in the system. You'll send you for HIV test and it will be negative. And at that level, you are capable of getting married to whoever and not transmit the disease to them. So it is important that you know the health status of your partner and see how you can help them to live a balanced and a good life that makes the two of you happy, and so as to build up a family. He or she can be able to have children without transmitting the disease to these children. So number 3, that is one of the most important questions to equally ask an individual.
The question is finished now.
Question number 4, hepatitis B and any other STIs. To remark, hepatitis B is one of the disease conditions that is equally transmitted sexually, as well as other STDs like chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis can impair the individual from contracting or from having can cause the individual to have infertility. So you want to find out, you want to be sure that they are healthy, and if at all they have had any episode of these sexually transmittable diseases, then how was it treated? Did they have full treatment? Did they go for another checkup? Are you sure that they are completely free from the disease condition? Would this affect them in the long run? Because don't forget, an individual that suffers from syphilis and is left untreated for so long, in the long run, that individual is capable of going blind. So imagine getting married to somebody, the person is having syphilis, 10, 20 years into marriage, the person goes blind. So it is important that you get tested and be sure that these disease conditions can be handled. Number 5 is checking how fertile are you as an individual. Now, when I ask how fertile are you as an individual to get into a relationship, somebody will be like, why? Why ask such a question? That is bizarre, because if I've never gotten pregnant before, how will I know if I'm fertile or not? Hepatitis B can't be treated by medicine, right? Yes. Studies are still being conducted, but it cannot be treated for now. Though there are Chinese medications that claim it can be treated, one's never know. Maybe it can't, but for now, they only manage the situation and manage signs and symptoms. Even though there's a vaccine, so I will encourage everyone to go take your vaccine. It is better to promote than to treat. So go and promote, get yourself vaccinated. get vaccinated. That prevents you from having any problem. It's easier to meet somebody that, oh, sorry, there's no need for that because I'm vaccinated. That is one. So number 5 question is asking the individual how fertile are they. I know it's a bizarre question because if you're asking someone or if you're asking a lady that has never been pregnant before, how will she know if she's fertile or not? If you're asking somebody, if you're a man, you have never impregnated any girl, you have never been married, you probably will not know if you're fertile or you're not fertile. So it becomes a tough question for you to answer. But do not be afraid because there is a possibility that this can still happen. You need to ask that question. It is an important and a vital aspect. This is to say that if you want to get married to somebody, it is necessary to take this individual to the hospital and get yourself tested. If for the man, do a sperm exam, sperm analysis. For the lady, go for SCG, check sure that your tubes are open. For the lady, check if you ovulate normally. These are certain things that you can always put together to be sure that you are on the right foot. So get yourself tested. Go and check this test. That is if only you are looking this person to be someone that you can keep a relationship with for a long run. Exactly. That is why I said there are individuals that have never been sexual with others. So they will not even know if they are fertile or they are not fertile. But when you meet that one person that you want to spend your life with, it is necessary to go to the hospital to get yourself analyzed. Do sperm analysis. They will tell you if you're viable, if the sperms are viable, if you have low sperm counts, if you are okay. They will tell you if you're, they will just give you an insight on your general health as pertaining fertility, and that is going to help your relationship decide on how well you want to start it. Yes, it's complicated because somebody will be like, how many people do I have to do all these things to be sure? As long you meet that one person that you like the individual, you should be able to. Except you are a community figure that you decide that you meet and you talk to everybody you see on your way. That becomes difficult for you because are you be good? How much do you have in your account that you want to be wasting and meeting all sorts of people? So that too is equally going to be a problem. Any question? Please ask your question so that we can go ahead, understanding that everyone is following. Ask your question.